Hello everybody, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and on today's video, God tests your faith by not testing it whatsoever at all. That's a made up nonsense experience. Now, by not testing you, okay? Yet we feel these circumstances and conditions happening, and it does sometimes feel as if you are fighting against the world. Now, while that's all well and good, here we are going to unpack what's really going on. Two comments that I'm going to focus on. One was in the YouTube channel, one was in the TikTok page, kind of revolving around similar ideas, but in unpacking both, we can see the unity of them. Now, the TikTok one was quite interesting, a different angle completely, but I did quite enjoy it. You can imagine evil, but not do it. Not entirely sure what he was referring to by the not to do it part. You're already imagining evil by knowing it. The images that you are considering are an after effect themselves. Now, there's no one way to think of this. True, that is absolutely true. Everyone has their own unique way of experiencing that which they are. You do not know what reality is. No, directed at me. You do not know what reality is. No one knows. You only perceive what's been taught in your mind. That's limitation. Ironically, disproving the comment itself, because the comment must be not true. Why? It was taught, and by the comment's own limitation, it must not be true anymore, right? So, pointless comment there. But it does lend onto absolute knowing, because everything does. You see, you only perceive what's been taught in your mind. That's limitation, but that is in and of itself a reality experience, and you don't know what reality is, and that doesn't matter, because you know reality itself, but you don't know what is in it. You are here to experience what is in it. See, reality knows what's in it. You are one with that reality. So anything you know, you are literally experiencing what is in reality. That's what you are doing here, to know what is in you. You made yourself here so you can know what's in yourself by being here. But you are making everything, right? No separation whatsoever. And the other comment was about faith. I am absolutely convinced that I am in my desire, and I think from it spontaneously. Basically how we react to the 3D world. Now, this is a little confusing when people are expressing live in your end. It doesn't mean how does that end me act. You see, when you are saying how does that end me act, you are basically saying that there is one version of you who you truly are, an objective three-dimensional you that wants to do this, and there's another version of you that would act like this because that is what that person would act like. That's not you creating reality. That's you creating separation between yourself and being another version of yourself when you are truly both. And here's the thing. Whatsoever you act like in imagination is already flowing into your 3D world. So it doesn't matter what you do in the 3D because it means nothing. So however you act, whatever you want to do, if I say that my dream life uses a red pen, and I say, no, but I felt like using a black pen, but that me uses a red pen, and I go purposely get a red pen, I'm still being the version of myself that uses a black pen, just not using it. You see how that works? Now everything is changed, but in relation to the goal, in complete opposition. So what changed? Changed to what? Everything changed, but apparently it is neutral, and to the goal somehow the opposite. So what changed? Nothing moved in the desired direction. How do you know that? That means you already have a version of your dream unfolding, not just your desired end. You're trying to dictate the end. How do you know it's not unfolding correctly? You didn't read the script beforehand. You living life is your reading of the script of your desired dream life. How do you know it's wrong? If you wake me up in the middle of the night, it will be confirmed via, I think, a polygraph, I think you're trying to say, I'm not entirely sure, that he is convinced of who he is. But who are you convinced to? Who are you trying to convince that you are convinced? It doesn't matter to me. It matters to you, but you are convinced in relation to whom? To be convinced, it must mean that someone else is recognizing your convincement. So if you are saying you are convinced to yourself, that means again, you are creating a separate version of you seeing that you are convinced. Both promises with such ease, directed at me and coaches, but the experience is soul-wrecking. I have promised you nothing of the sort. I have promised you no experience in reality other than that which you are experiencing. So what are you experiencing as reality? But the experience is soul-wrecking. No experience is soul-wrecking. All experiences are one with you and they come from your very soul itself. So it cannot be soul-wrecking. It might be a soul-wrecking experience, but your soul cannot be wrecked. Despite true faith, there is no tangible result. I understand the expression of despite true faith, there is no tangible result and wanting to find answers to what's really going on. I get that. And I get even the way the question was phrased was about that. Despite true faith, there is no tangible result. Because you're still using faith as a medium to manifest something. You're still using faith as if it is a tangible experiencing thing that you're carrying around with you, that if I have enough, there'll be a result. We're going to go through this wonderfully, okay? The first comment points out that people don't understand the very simple Bible scripture that be still and know that you are God. Now, what does this mean? It might sound very mystical, but the realization is to know that your very imagination is mirroring exactly how God creates reality in a very literal sense. God just knows something into being, and whenever you are imagining, you are just knowing it into being. One to one, exactly the same thing. You are basically reenacting what God did to create the world, the universe as we know it. Just like that. Why must it be anything else? In fact, it can't be. Because anything else you're imagining, God creates it in the exact same way anyway. The way God creates reality is as easy as imagining it. Because it is imagining it. Imagination is just basically the mirror effect of how we experience reality. It's the same thing. God literally imagines reality into being. Let there be light. Not please, will there be light? But only God does it perfectly, right? God does this perfectly, and you are one with that God. So God knows the inner workings of how the entirety of reality functions together. Cool, perfect. No one is denying this. So yes, you can imagine evil experiences, but you just don't. And plenty of people do, however, and that's their experience of reality. Because whether you are imagining evil happening to you or yourself committing said evil act that we are considering very experiences that are unlike love, it's all imagined first. It doesn't just happen. Okay, and the effect of that imagination is your experience of reality. And I know we're going to go into this whole thing of no, but some people don't deserve it and suffering and this and that. Remember, you don't know what a person is experiencing within themselves or why their experience occurred. You can only fundamentally say that was and is an experience of reality. If it is something that is truly unlike love, it is not reality. While it is an experience of reality, it is not love, because love is the only thing that does exist. Now, no matter what side of the act you focus on, whether it's happening to you or coming from you via your own anger or disillusionment or your own suffering, the effect is the same, because it's all you. Now, unpacking this a little further, and here's the thing. There is no one way to think about this. That was part of the comment. It means what this literally means is that you can think about reality in an infinitely expanding number of ways and express those infinitely expanding number of ways in a finite expression, which is what you are. You are a finite expression of reality. The three-dimensional world is a continuous rearrangement of a finite expression of infinity. It is the only way infinity can experience itself, by continuously making itself finite and experiencing that finiteness in a linear form. You can think of anything in any way you like. It is literally the most obvious thing to know, but it's so obvious it's almost too obvious. So you don't know what reality is directly to me. That is not the whole truth. My answer. You don't know what reality can be. You don't know what all of reality can be. Yeah, sure. You're not supposed to. You're only supposed to know what you can be as reality, because that is your part of reality experiencing. Everybody else is doing this, and the totality of what happens is that reality knows itself through those individualized experiences. That's what reality is doing. Now, any part of the whole must function as the whole, otherwise it would be impossible to realize that you are one with reality. If there was a part of reality that didn't actually function as anything else, the system would break down. You wouldn't be able to realize this, and it would be something else. Now, focus here. What you decided to know enters your knowing. Yes, you know this. Whatever you decided to imagine enters your imagination. Again, we know this, but know it. That's reality and you being it. That's what reality is. Not the thing you imagined. The knowing that whatever you imagine is there. That is, and then you can continuously do that. That's what reality is. You are reality, and whatever you are knowing comes forth from within you. That's what reality is. So the whatsoever I choose to know, I am knowing, not the individual frames of that knowing. It is the book realizing no matter what word it chooses to call forth, it knows it has it in it, but it is the book that is knowing that. Reality is this realization. Whatsoever I want to know appears because the infinite knowing already made it. Whatever I want to know, I can know it as I couldn't want to know something that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Realize that you can keep imagining and the choice of experience will be there. That is reality, not the scene. The knowing, you can call it from the infinity, is really what is going on. That's what reality is. The scene is how you experience being that same version of reality in one aspect. The way to know it is knowing that when I imagine it, it is me being it, and the identity within it is me being them, experiencing it. I don't have to try and figure out how to be them. Whatever I do is me being them, because it's me. When you are at the beach and you look at the ocean, you don't need to know every drop, but you know it's the ocean. So you know when you are imagining something, you are calling forth something that fundamentally must be there, and you don't question whether you can imagine it. You just do. That's what reality is. You are reality imagining itself. Realize that, literally realize I can imagine whatever I want to imagine. That's what reality is. Realize I can imagine whatever I want to imagine. It's like words don't do it justice. I can know whatever I want to know. Even if I don't consciously know all of it, I know that it is there in some form. I know it is there. And I know that when I choose to know it, it's coming forth. That's what that knowing is. That knowing of everything that is knowable inside you. And the depth of that knowableness is infinite. You only need to know whatever you are knowing will be there. And you know that it's there. You don't even question it is there. You question whether it exists, whether you can experience it. But just go experience it. That's all. Because you are one with the entirety of reality. You must be. Otherwise, how could you call it forth? Where are you calling it forth from? Nothing outside of you. You can't be doing that. Whatever is knowable comes from an infinite source that already knowed it real. You couldn't call something separate from you and continuously keep expecting it to listen. You couldn't call your neighbor's dog to you. But you can call forth the entirety of any frame of reality within you, because you know it must just be there. You don't even question that it is there. Now, here's this diagram, right? I thought it was like a very simple way to expand this. That red circle, the red circle is your physically expressed viewpoint, your awareness expressing that viewpoint, you as reality being that. The entirety of everything afforded to your physically focused self and your awareness that can be anything of those physically focused selves, that is being every physically focused self that you could possibly be, everything about you as reality, every frame of reality that you can possibly have ever experienced and can experience again is in that red circle. And that red circle still contains everything in that green circle, because you can't break it up. It has to be exactly the same. You're just obviously not going to experience other people's viewpoints from their viewpoint. Why would you want to do that? Anyway, you want to experience your viewpoint fully. That's what you are actually here to do. That is why it seems as if we're all separated, but we're just experiencing our individualized, separate viewpoints. And those viewpoints exist in infinite configurations that are all configured and interwoven in the great I am reality. And the great I am reality, the Father, God, Source, what we refer to as this infinite knowing, that I don't know the entirety of, but I know the entirety of is there, and because whatever I choose to imagine will pop in, is there, and I know that it knows everything. I know that whatever I know must be from it, because I couldn't imagine something that didn't already work together existing. And I know that the mechanism of calling it forth is calling it forth from within that which is one with me. Has all those frames of reality working together. That's what you are. Exodus 3:14, and God said unto Moses, I am that I am. I am that great I am. I just put the word great there because it's greater in awareness. It knows more about itself than you do. That's the point. But it's only ever I am. It's the same thing. I might as well just write down I am everywhere. And you have infinite versions of those individualized identities that you are being, and you are being all of them simultaneously. So when you imagine, you automatically unfold and are being the version you have imagined yourself to be. And now for the second question, and this is going to be a shooter, and that's why I actually said this entire thing initially expressing it. I wrote the whole thing down so you can actually read it again and again if you really want to. Now, faith is not a thing that is separate from you, that you have. It is an understanding of what reality and you are together. Faith is knowing. So the amount of willingness of your own knowing is your faith. It's not something that's related to faith. It is faith. Knowing is faith. It is the same thing. And you can see this in anything. If you take any great physical representation of a person, they never have faith that they can be the best version of themselves. They know they are. They know that version exists. They know that is who they choose to be right now. If you take Muhammad Ali, he said, I am the greatest. Even if I don't believe that right now, I know I am the greatest. He knew that his conviction in knowing he was the greatest was his faith in knowing. His knowing of himself as the greatest was the faith that the version of himself already existed. He's not trying to make it exist. It's the same thing. My knowing of myself as the greatest version of myself is the faith that version of myself exists. And that is who I am right now. You see, when we say things like, I am absolutely convinced that I am my desire, who are you convinced against? You are convinced in comparison to who? To whom? Trying to convince somebody is actually the illusion of separation. You are convinced in regard to who? Who do you need to convince? Yourself only. When there's only you though. The 3D appearance of convincing somebody is the creation of separation, even if that convincement happens to be with yourself. You are saying, I am convinced, I am my desire, and yet everything that follows is not conviction that you are your desired version of yourself right now. It is in opposition to it. Everything changed, but in relation to the goal, in complete opposition. But what is that change? What was reality changing into? It must be changing into something. It doesn't change arbitrarily. It's unfolding perfectly your goal or dream life right now according to who you are, what you are dreaming yourself to be. Not your desired life, who you are dreaming your life to be. What is that? How do you know nothing moved in that desired direction? You obviously have some sort of idea or reflection of that experience, and that idea hasn't yet presented itself in the 3D physical world. That's okay to notice. But is it evidence that you are not who you desire yourself to be? That's up to you. Recognize that nothing in the 3D will ever decide for you or require your convincement of who you are as reality itself. Things like saying, if you wake me up in the middle of the night, it will confirm that I believe. Why does that matter? If I wake you up in the middle of the night and ask you who you are, why does that matter to me or to you or to anyone? It doesn't matter what you say. In fact, you should be saying, why are you in my house in the middle of the night? And no experience is soul wrecking. You are experiencing your soul being wrecked, as you put it, because that's where your focus is. You are reality. It's not about bold promises. It's telling you your dream life is real. That's not a promise. It is real. You wouldn't even be able to imagine the idea of it did it not exist. It's not a promise, that is a truth. You can experience your dream life despite having true faith. Because you keep calling it true faith. What is untrue faith? Nothing. What is the tangible result? Nothing. Nothing's tangible. Everything you are saying has nothing to do with what faith is. So what is faith? Faith is this. If I am walking around in the 3D world pretending that hope is faith, and you ask me, I say no, I am that which I say I am. It doesn't matter what happens. Faith is the manner in which you experience reality. Faith is the knowing of what you are experiencing reality as. It's the same thing. You can imagine a frame of reality, an imaginational scene as reality. You can imagine that, sit in it and experience it. That's all well and good. Faith and knowing the same thing is the depth of how you imagine that scene to fulfillment, to completion, to the absolute feeling of your wish fulfilled. Not imagining something and then walking around hoping that it happens, calling hope faith. Because when you imagine this thing, this dream life that you desire, as the identity who is experiencing it with complete faith, whatever your scene is, and it can be anything, it could be money falling from the sky for all that it matters. If you imagine that this feeling is my knowing, my faith of absolute reality, that this, what I'm imagining, what I'm feeling is real, and what it refers to is real, that is faith. And when you walk around, you understand that no matter what happens, faith is not to overcome those circumstances and say, I am convinced still that I am my dream life, even though those circumstances happened. It's not saying, I know I'm in my wish field even after these things happened. That's you saying, I call forth circumstances to prove my faith, when no one is testing you. You are saying, test my faith. You are unconsciously saying, test my faith. You're telling your higher self, test my faith. Show me that my faith is complete. That's where your focus is. And your higher self says, okay, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll send you these circumstances, then you can overcome them. Then you can have the experience of knowing that you still believe in your dream life, even after something shook your soul. And it amounts to nothing, because that experience was your end. It doesn't mean that now, after you have experienced enough of those, your dream life comes. It means experience your dream life with full faith and full knowing. And full knowing and full faith, because it's the same thing. To the absolution of being one with it, abandon yourself completely to that imaginational moment. Nothing can prevent it and nothing needs you to overcome it, because it's all just you. That's what faith means. Not walking around in faith, not walking around believing that I am convinced I am who I say I am. Because convincement doesn't do anything. It is imagining in full knowing who I choose to be. An acceptance that I am that right now. That how I think is that right now. I don't have to decide this is what that person thinks. Whatever I think is that person. I am who that person is. It's my choice, my desire. That's what's unfolding. I am who I say I am. Imagine completely. You know that way when you feel this is my normal life. You imagine it unconsciously with full faith. You don't dispute that. That's what faith is. It's such a subtle thing, but you can just really abandon yourself to it if you want to. I am your host, Reese. This is Reach Your Reality with Reese. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the joining. Thank you for the subscribing. Thank you for the being here. And thank you again, truly, for the questions, because they really unpack more of this wonderfulness. Thank you for joining the TikTok page as well. The questions there. Thank you for joining the Facebook pages. Thank you for following all 3 Facebook pages as well. Thank you for the emails. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Love and light.